I think it's worth revisiting my mental state and its steady degradation as I progress through GTNH, especially as I've now entered the late game and can show off a lot of the really cool things you can do within this mod pack that I've never seen done before in any other game, frankly. And I've engaged with this game in ways that I have not any other my entire life. And I think that that's amazing. I think that the team has done a really amazing job. And I'd just like to show off a little bit as I've recently hit 1,000 hours in my own playtime. And it both feels like too little and too much time. I started my journey in that forest, running and screaming and crying towards the high ground. The center of my operations is what I call here the grid. That is where my AE2 applied energistics systems all converge, and there's so many different things that have to come together. They're very reflective. I thought that things would get simpler once I started using wireless connections. They have not gotten simpler. I am organized. Some that look at this might not think so, but I know exactly where things are. This factory grew out from, originally, oil processing. We would bring dollies up and get this thing filled up with oil, and that would be broken out into sulfuric light fuel, heavy fuel. Processing acids is very important towards building industry. Eventually, this area was taken up by my diesel processing pipeline, which started with this humble little mixer. And this mixer was not enough, but all of its cousins have been reused. Actually, I still have heavy fuel flowing. I don't know why. I don't know where it's going. I don't know where it's really coming from either, because there's no oil going in. Very early on in the game, I actually did a lot of magic. And this magical manse is very extra for what I've used it for. I've actually barely done any magic in a very long time. But fairly recently, I have done some work in connecting that to my AE system, which digitizes that magical energy. Fairly recently, I did also revisit magic through Botania. Don't worry about that. What I did is I actually used a time anomaly to make my magic pool faster. The moment I got what I needed, mana diamond lens, I left this. I have not gone back since, which is, I wouldn't call it sad. It served its purpose. There's really good tutorials on universal production. My system has been picked apart in some ways, but still serves its purpose. It's still actually in use, but it hooks up agnostically to chemical reactor, to chemical plants, and there's even a dehydrator that was never hooked up. Most important to me for a very long time was the alloy blast smelter, right? Yes. Very important tools, very slow though. The factory has grown unprecedentedly since last time I showed it, but it's just not big enough. You can't get everything that you need underground. So I've had to go above ground. I've had to build all this. Things are not actually connected to the main network. They don't need to be, because they're fully passive. I built a space elevator. Space elevator has been really fun to build. I built it manually. This space elevator lets me go pretty much anywhere aside from the tier 9 planets, and it costs a lot. I got it as I entered UHV, and it was really worth it because it meant that I didn't have to do the tier 8 rocketry until I had way more resources than I needed, so I speed ran it. I've never been very good at chemistry, but I needed fluorine, I needed to make Teflon, I needed to make plastics en masse. I found myself learning through this journey, which has actually been very fun. First full automation beyond that I built was actually tied around this electric blast furnace, which is not the first one that I built. I have pollution turned on, and that meant that things got kind of spicy if I started running too many machines all at once. This let me produce all sorts of wafers that I cut down and tied into this automated circuit production facility, which I eventually looped into my clean room, which is where my circuit processing actually lived until, I want to say, probably LUV. That's ludicrous voltage. Why is there still stuff in here? All of these circuit assemblers have served a wonderful purpose. I do actually have still machines that use this. Sometimes when you go up a tier, the multi-block machine does not work for that increased tier. So I have periodically had to come back in here to do biological research and assemble higher level circuits. Make circuits, many of them over here. That will have to be scaled up soon because I use thousands of circuits for many operations. Washed my ore, and I also did chemical bathing over here. Till eventually, I graduated to a dedicated ore processing facility. Here's one of them, currently off, currently on again. Make wires in here. I think I haven't actually built another wire mill at all, actually, other than this guy. I also only have one cutter. That one is for circuit. A little bit wasteful to have a second one. Here's a 3D printer. The water line. There are all sorts of little puzzles. There are individual processes that you have to take your water through to make it more pure so you can do more things with it. Oh, water purity is important, yes, drink, certainly. It is important for industrial applications, absolutely. But at a certain point, you start having to dilute intradimensional fluids. I don't know why you might want to do that, but you might. So you want to purify your water. Clarification is technically not the first step in water purification, but that's okay, because they are the most recognizable parts of a water purification plant. That is followed by ozonation. Put in some ozone, and water becomes purified with that ozone. Extract a lot of little things from there. That is followed by flocculation. You use polyaluminum chloride, only an exact amount in multiples of 100,000 liters. There's no real clean way to get units of 10 of anything in Minecraft, so I have a dedicated facility to flocculate my water, and it works great. I definitely only have a little bit of extra polyaluminum chloride in case it breaks down for some reason, and it never has. I guarantee it. Absolutely not. So after you flocculate, you have to balance the pH of your water. You haven't balanced the pH of your water? Come on, you've already flocculated it. You need to balance it. That is followed by temperature purification. You use plasma to do so. That was a very fun process as well. There's redstone going all over the place. I've got little loops under this little glass layer. I had a lot of fun with this one as well. Look at my water cooling back down. I've actually cycled through it a couple of times now, so it'll become fully purified, but it didn't purify enough. I need to look again at my systems that I'm using here. Well, that's okay, because it works just fine. I got plenty of water. It's okay. Then you use lasers. Really fun. Then once you clean things up with your lasers, you actually want to go through the next stage, which is decontaminate, degas anything that might still be remaining in the water. Degassing, very similar to outgassing. Conventionally, I guess you'd put it through vacuum cycling. At least that's what we do to outgas materials in the real world. But you do a bunch of redstone, and you have to input a bunch of very particular things to keep your water clean. The most intimidating step, in a lot of ways, is the last step, with the most expensive machine in the universe, which uses quarks to balance out the baryonic state of the water. And as you can tell from this display screen size, there's a lot of factors that go into this. The puzzles are very interesting. I had to do math for a lot of the later ones, as well as building spreadsheets for management of the water processing. That's yielded a lot of really fun little builds, such as here what I would use for reprocessing my core catalysts. What do I do with it? Well, some of the water has to go into making these really crazy circuits that I might need for higher level applications. This is my originally bio facility. All this wetware processing, as well as actual biological circuit development goes on in here. I have these vats of bacteria and alien materials all over the place that I use to produce some really wacky stuff. What happens when you do astrobiology, isn't it? Now, this is just the tip of the iceberg, as it feels like everything in GTNH is. You have this behemoth here, this beautiful, horrific creature, and the TTPF is one of the big goals. Splits the mid-game from the late game. Obscenely expensive, but once you build it, well, now you can really do some wild stuff by manipulating basic atomic forces. But you still need to cook. You need to freeze or cool things down. You might need to build a mega distillation tower. You might need to crack some more oil, so you make some of those. You might have to extract more fluids out of things. You might have to process more ore. And as long as you need to do more, the infinite world of Minecraft, you get more to do it with. You can build more mega blast furnaces. You can build more space elevators to harvest gases from different planetary atmospheres. You can assemble things in orbit. You can continue just growing until you don't even know what's what. But one thing I do know is that these tools enable to do really wonderful things. You can eventually step back and think, man, I've really done a lot. Was it in a game? Yeah. That's okay. Games are ways to express yourself, and games are a way to practice little things like anxiety about multi-stage processing. You ever gotten overwhelmed about how many things you have to do to get things done? Don't worry. You could do worse. And doing so in a low-stress environment is really wonderful. I recommend it. You should play this mod pack. It's like nothing else I've ever done. But what it is satisfying. And you should enjoy these kinds of things.